Oh, hey there. Going to try something a bit different today. Been racing 7 days in a row. A lot of that was on the Grand Tour for Indy Velo. Really good platform, actually. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Something different to Zwift. And it's got a lot of benefits in terms of speed measurement, draft measurement, wind. So yeah, really enjoyable series, but my legs are sore. So just doing a bit of a recovery ride. Who are we riding with here? I don't know who it is, but we're riding with a pace partner at about 150 watts. And what I thought we'd do, we're riding with Maria. Okay. And what I thought we'd do is I'm going to test different bikes. An aero setup. I'm currently on the Aeroad 2024 with disc wheels. I'm going to test that in a draft, in a bunch scenario, like you might in a race. So sitting in and just drafting behind a pack of riders. And then what we'll do is we'll switch to a more climbing setup. Probably Pinarello, and we'll put on the DT Swiss, the non-disc wheels. So that's what we'll do. I'm going to take some measurements on intervals, which we should probably share after I've done the recording. Okay, hey, welcome back. I've done just under 30 minutes, so legs are loose and warmed up. I've moved up to Coco as the pace partner, and I am now controlling my wattage. Well, controlling all my legs, but I'm controlling the target power through the Wahoo app. And generally, I've been doing, you can probably see from the charts below, a few spikes because I've turned off ERG smoothing, just so you get a more accurate representation of the watts I'm doing. If you've got a Wahoo and you put ERG smoothing on, it will just read 170, regardless, even though I'm not actually doing 170. So, right, it's targeting 170, just about to go up this little bump. And I've been nicely holding on to Coco. Just get over this bump. I mean, interestingly, let's see how far I drop back. I can't actually put out much more power than 170. I'm dropping back a little bit. Maybe just knock that up to 180, 190, 200. Let's just get back on. Okay, you can see there, actually, funnily enough, having 170, just up that little bump, is probably enough to make you lose the draft. So I'm now riding at 200, get 300 per second, let's get back on. Bit of a surge. Okay, back on, and back to 170. So what I want to show really is what speed do we do on flat for the amount of power that we're getting. I'm on an aero setup, and yeah, we'll switch to a climbing setup in a moment. So we're mimicking race pace here. We're going to jump up a bot to sort of simulate what a Cat C, maybe a Cat B race might look like on the flat. Now, interestingly, I've jumped to 41 kilometers an hour. That's the pace that Yumi's riding at on the flat. We're going to ignore the silly measurements of watts per kilo for this, okay? Watts per kilo, or watts per kg. I'll just turn my watts up here, get up this bump. Yeah, watts per kg is a bit of a silly measurement. It's really only useful for climbing hills. No good downhill for obvious reasons, and not particularly useful for on the flat. What you want to be measuring is speed and acceleration, not watts per kg. Let's just get over this bump. And just to sort of show that point, I've jumped up a pace partner. So we're now riding at what should be about 220 watts. And I think I can get away with holding 180. Without too much risk of being dropped. The guy next to me is doing 230. You can see that on his screen. Maybe just go, let's go to 190. As we go through the bumpy stuff. So riding in a group, we know the front of the group is doing about 220, 230. I'm 74 kilos, I'm 174 centimetres high. I'm basically a very slightly small bot. Bullet shaped, lots of draft, lots of aero. And you can see on this flat dirt, 36 kilometres an hour, 35 kilometres an hour, 34 kilometres an hour. So we're holding, only about 35, 36, and we'll look at the exact speed in the charts afterwards. It's coming up at 1%, so see what happens here. $35 kilometers an hour and 190 watts. I'm still holding on to the group. It does feel like I might drop off at any minute. Oh, Lee Cassidy. Give him a wave. Want to be in his own. Give him a ride on. Hello, Lee. I'm experimenting. And if it's of any interest to anybody, after that 1% switchback, just back there, I did lose contact at 190 watts. And I had to ramp up the Wahoo app to about 250, 300 to get back on. Oh, there's Jonathan as well, Jonathan Huber. Shout out. Okay, so some text banter over. I'm currently doing 40 kilometers an hour. Let's just let currently riding. Oh, we dropped down to 38, so it's still 1%. 39. Maybe 8. In draft. With aero. Rain. At 190 watts. So what we're going to do now we're going to do a short punch. And we're going to see what speed we accelerate to. Okay, into the tunnel. This is a great place to test a short, sharp punch. I'm doing 40 kilometers an hour, 180 watts. We're going to ramp that up to 400, 500 watts, maybe 600. Okay, 43. I'm going to do that for about 10 seconds. I'm on an aero frame. Okay, what speed did I get up to? 51 kilometers an hour. Doing that. Left the group behind. And like I say, we'll do the switcheroo, switch bikes, take this back down, and we'll review that in the charts at the end of this ride. Okay, so we've switched to the Pinarello Dogma F. New snazzy bike, a lot lighter. Also, we've taken the disc wheels off. I'm dialed in again at about 190 watts with the Wahoo app. Change that lead. Okay, so in theory, on the flat, at 190 watts, we're doing 40 kilometers an hour at the moment. So it should be able to hang. We should be able to hang with Yumi. No problem. Oh, it might give us a slight 2%, so bump that. Back to 190. So, all things being equal, at 190 watts, I should be able to hang on here. I mean, keep an eye on that speed. Yeah, between 39 and 40 kilometers an hour again. Do I feel, bearing in mind, I've locked in the power through ERG mode on Wahoo app, do I feel like there is any watt saving by being on this lighter bike? The answer is no. I'm still doing 190 watts. And I'm still staying in the group. Now, again, we're riding faster with Yumi than we were with Coca. But I'm still doing 170 to 190 watts. You might want to know, or you might wonder why that is. And that's because actually, the faster the front is going, or the faster the pace, the more draft benefit you get, and the more watt saving. So if we were doing 50 kilometers an hour, yeah, difficult, I know, but if we were doing 50 kilometers an hour on flat, I'd be getting maybe a 20 to 30% saving, which allows me to maybe only do 210 watts. So the faster you go, the more saving there is. So I think this is pretty clear that the aero setup versus a climbing setup on the flat, I'm not having to put in any more work, doing the same amount of work than I was doing before. So let's just drop back a bit. I'm going to do a similar test. Similar test to what we did on the aero frame. A slightly different part of the course. So what I might do again is cut this and do it through the tunnel once we get to that point. But I just want to go. So what we're going to do, rattle up to about 600 watts, using the controller, using the Wahoo app, control that and dial that in. And you'll see that on the chart. We'll hold that for about 10 to 15 seconds. And we'll look at acceleration when we look at the intervals charts. But more importantly, let's see if I reach faster than 52 kilometers an hour. So here we go. We're starting at 600. Train's giving me resistance. Go for 10 seconds. Oh, 53. Oh, better dial that off. Get spiral. Right, we hit 53 kilometers an hour. Been riding around now with Yumi all through the desert, where you go flat, and just the outskirts of Tycoon's Grove, through the tunnels, and now we're up to this 1% section. This time round, I mean, I can't control the group size, it looks similar. This time round, 190 watts, just the same as last time. And of course, last time up here, holding 190 on the Aeroad setup. So that was the Aeroad 2024 with discs. I fell off the back. I'm doing the same power, holding about the same position in the pack. Only difference being I'm on what is considered to be a climbing setup, or a lighter setup at least. This is the Pinarello. (2024) with Dicut Swift, not discs. And I am falling backwards. I think any moment that band's going to snap. So, let's find out, is the climbing setup going to help me stay onto the group of a 1% hairpin climb? I think you have your answer. Keep an eye on this speed as we go over the bridge. I'm doing 180 watts. I think I might have been doing 190 before. Keep it there. It's just to show you on the Dogma. The green at the HCT. Doing 38. Pretty sure that's all we were doing before at this point. 39. Same power. 40. 41. Maybe it's a tad faster. That's interesting if it is. I don't know what the pace on the front is. Should be the same. Well, that was a long route. Thank you, Yumi. Back to the tunnel. I'm doing 190 watts, or trying to average it anyway through non-smooth erg mode. It's all being controlled by the app. 39 kilometers an hour. 40. Similar speed, maybe slightly faster. Same power, 190. Question is, what speed can I get up to when I put my foot down? So we're going to pounce to 600 watts in a second, which is no good because I'm drifting to the front. So let's pounce to 600 watts. Right, that's slower. 45 kilometers an hour. I don't think that was a fair test. I rolled to the front and I started that a bit later, but you never know. That was a lot slower and only got to 46 kilometers an hour.
Okay, so here we have the fit file for that ride. First 30 minutes was warm up, so we're just going to zoom into certain bits. Let's have a look at this particular flat bit. Here we were riding with the Aeroad setup, and let's just put a segment section on that. So yeah, 192 watts average speed. Let's get rid of that bit there where there's a bit of a downhill. And speed 38.9, 38. So we're doing about 38, somewhere between 38 and 39 kilometers an hour. Let's have a look at this acceleration. We did 595 watts for 15 seconds. And we peaked at 51.8 kilometers an hour. And then if we have a look at a similar section, let's zoom to here, similar section when we're in the lightweight frame and wheels. Again, 186 watts. The speed here is quicker. 39.9. Now, whether that's the, although it does drop, whether that's the pack speed, we're actually going a bit quicker in that section. Let's see if I can find another flat piece on that particular frame. Let's have a look here. A bit tricky, not exactly flat. And I was doing a bit more power there. I was playing catch up. Let's have a look at the sprint. Or the push to break away again. It's a bit more power here, 620 watts. And we only peaked at 45.4. But if you look at that profile, I think I accelerated too late and had more uphill to deal with. So we'll have a look at that earlier acceleration through the flats. This time, 594 watts. That's almost bang on the same watts. 595 before. And here we peaked at 51.8. That is exactly the same speed. So we came out of a 39 kilometer an hour, did 600 watts for 11 seconds, and peaked at 51.8. And if I go back to the aero frame, we're doing slightly faster. We're doing 40.3. We did 595 watts for 14 seconds, and we peaked at 51.8. So the acceleration for both those bikes, I would say, is very similar. There is not much in that, and they both peaked at 51.8.
Well, I'm back. Just one more thing, as they say. I don't think this test will be finished without some kind of drag race. So, what we're going to do, I'm on the Pinarello S, non-disc wheels. It's the 2024, so this is the lighter frame. Going to accelerate up somewhere to about 600, 700, 800 watts. Can't really control it through this acceleration, so this is just me and through my legs. I'm not kind of using any erg mode. And we'll do that for, let's go for 10 seconds, and we'll see the top speed, and then we'll spin round, change bike, do it again. So, on my marks, there, spin up we go, up here. Think I hit the 1,000. $49.50. 52. So, ever so slightly faster on that acceleration, but obviously lots of variables at play. My legs being one of them, changing gear being another. I'm avoiding virtual shifting for the time being, till while we get a firmware update out. And yeah, was it 15 seconds each time? I don't know. But comments below. Let me know what you thought. I mean, it's fairly conclusive that in the draft, bike choice doesn't matter. I was able to hang on at the same power. I got dropped at the same power. Obviously, on a long climb, anything more than 20 minutes, take a light bike. But I think in Zwift racing in the weekly series, it's your choice, really. I don't think there's much difference, unless, of course, you like going solo again. If you like the solo breaks, then then maybe the Aeroad's for you. So thanks for watching. Goodbye.